I'm Laura Bonnell, and this is the Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast coming to you from Detroit. Please subscribe and even rate and comment on our podcasts when it moves you. I learn something new with every podcast, and I'm always inspired by the people that are showcased here. We don't give medical advice. You need to connect with your doctor for that. I hope that this Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast educates you and sparks some volunteering or advocacy. The CF community needs people like you. Thanks to our sponsors, Viatris and Vertex, for their support. Summer is a stay-at-home mom. She's homeschooling her, what she calls rowdy boys, and loving life with her husband. She also has 2 adult daughters who are on their own. And about 12 years ago, she earned her bachelor's in business management and organizational leadership from George Fox University. And 3 years ago, Summer's brother-in-law and CF Vest Worldwide, he is the vice president, Josh Bauder, Summer's brother-in-law, asked if she could help with a volunteer warehouse role. And he just said to her, oh, it's not a big deal, not too much work. And she now laughs because she quickly found out it is a lot of work, but she is dedicated 100%. And she says that it inspired her entire family. She also started working by receiving, testing, cleaning, sorting, storing, and then shipping these donated vests. And her role has grown, as you will hear on this podcast. It has grown really big. She's doing a ton of work with actually personally taking these vests to various countries. And we will get into that right now. Thanks for being here with us, and I'm excited to talk to you because I know Rod Spadinger with CF Vests Worldwide and your brother-in-law, Josh. So it's great to now have you and talk about all the things you're going to be doing. I first want to talk about something that I did mention in the introduction, but you got a business degree, and then you decided to move and help with CF Vests Worldwide. How did that happen?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Also, I'm just excited to be here. I got my business degree. Thanks. Oh goodness, probably like 10 years ago. It mostly just because I wanted a degree in something, and at that point, I had 3 kids, and there was a really good online program, so I just did it. But I never used it really, except for managing my family. I lost my brother 8 years ago. He had 3 kids. We adopted them all. We went from 3 kids to 6 overnight, and then we had another. So my business management experience truly was managing a big family.
And Summer, because we're talking cystic fibrosis, you didn't lose your brother to cystic fibrosis, is that correct?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I'm very sorry for your loss.
It really taught me that I can handle whatever workload is thrown at me. And I just got really used to doing a lot, It just kind of it became who I was. It is who I am. I mean, I am a busy lady, but my brother-in-law, after just maybe a year before I had my last son, he's almost 5. My brother-in-law had his daughter Evangeline, and turned out she had cystic fibrosis, and he was living in Thailand, and he had a lot of struggles living in Thailand, figuring out first that she even had it. Basically, Google, he learned of her diagnosis through Google. He's like, I think this is what my daughter has, because no one there was diagnosing it. So the whole family was just in this journey with Josh, trying to find out what was going on with little Evangeline. And when he finally found out, it just became everybody's concern. And he became like a super heavy researcher, which I'm finding that parents with kids with CF become really involved with researching. And so he was just sharing information, and we just kind of all grew this at least I did, like a passion to also want to know and want to help and find out what's going on. So, and then he got involved in CFS Worldwide through Rod because he was in Thailand and needed a vest. And I just remember how thrilled he was when he got it and when he told us, like, wow, this is like a really expensive vest and I'm getting it and it's donated. And, we were all just like, wow, what a miracle. And then shortly after, he came to visit us and he said, hey, Summer, we really need someone to pack and ship and just like manage like the whole warehouse area of CFS Worldwide. Can you do that? I'm like, he's like, it's, you're just going to get a couple vests in the mail, just clean them up. And, he made it sound like not a big deal. I'm like,
Right. That's so funny.
yeah, I think I can add that to what I'm doing. I homeschool my kids too, right? So I'm like I'm homeschooling. And I agree. And the vests start showing up and it's a lot. It's like a lot of vests. And it's interesting though, because as donations started to build, my ability to handle them, just started to build too. That's kind of how I got started, and here I am. I'm still doing it. There's been times where I'm like, I don't want to clean another machine. I don't want to, oh my goodness, there's 5 on my front porch, and the boxes are huge. Sometimes you can't walk in the front door. But honestly, more recently, just like meeting the families when I go in person abroad has just been so touching, and really just lit a fire for me. And now I get these machines and I'm like, yes, oh yes, we got another one. And I was just getting more excited and really just owning that this is what I get to do.
Before we get into that a little bit more, where are you in the U.S. compared to where Josh is in Thailand?
Yeah, I'm in Longview, Washington. So it's kind of between Portland and Seattle. Josh is, I don't know, 2 days away by airplane. So
Yeah, I've learned so much. My sister-in-law is Thai, and she lives here now in Michigan, but it's been wonderful learning the Thai culture from her and eating Thai food, and then learning, sadly, through Josh years ago, and talking to a doctor that he connected me with about, at that time, I think 12 people were diagnosed with CF there. And, this is
wow.
what we're working on. In addition to what you're doing, trying to educate people about finding out more about cystic fibrosis and getting diagnosed earlier. But where was the first place that you traveled when you started delivering vests, and how was that first delivery?
Oh man, so everything is always feels like it's so last minute too. I got a text from Rod. Hey, Summer, you think you could go to India? And I was like, yeah, sure. When do you want me to go? Well, as soon as possible. And it's just never been to India. I know Latin America, but this would be a huge change. So I just am really willing. I kind of have an adventurous spirit. I want to get out there, and I'm not really that afraid, but it's a little intimidating. So, I mean, I think within a month, maybe less, I was headed to India. And that came about because there's a mom with a little girl with CF in India, and she's a researcher and an advocate, and she's just really doing a lot for India over there. And she reached out to Piper's Angels and said, hey, we would like to get vests, and how can we do that? And so Piper's Angels gave us a grant. I think it's like a community support kind of grant, and in order to bring all the vests over. So it was just enough money to get all 5, I think 5 of them over there. And it was like 2 days to get there. I stayed for a day and then turned around and came home. But it was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience. And Pratibha, that's the mom's name, showed up and just thrilled to load all those in her vehicle and deliver them to all the little kids. So that was.
So, what did she say to you? What have you heard after she delivered those vests? What kind of impact did it have?
It's really awesome because she was like on a search to find the 5 kids who she knew really, really needed it the most. And that was her goal. And they were kids who really did need it. Many of them were really ill, and some of them couldn't even use it quite yet because they were too ill. So, but they did get delivered, and she kept us updated as each child got their vest, and she would send pictures and videos. And unfortunately, one little kiddo just never got better and ended up passing away. And the vest went to another child, but she just worked really hard to see that it all happened. And
You know, the vests are important. They give the kids a little bit of freedom to do other things. I mean, we can do chest physical therapy with our hands as parents. I did it the first 5 years of my daughters' lives because they didn't have vests, you know, when my girls were born 28 and
yeah.
30 years ago. So we had to, you know, do the percussions with our hands. And it was actually kind of fun, you know, because it was like, it was time together. They could watch cartoons. And when I was in Egypt, I did tell parents that if you don't have a vest, you can just do hand percussions, and showed them how to do it. But it is nice that you're able to give vests to families. What did you hear back from these families in India, you know, that how did they describe how it changed their lives or helped them?
Yeah, so a lot of families, they're working so much just to pay for the needs of their children with cystic fibrosis. And then many families have many children, and so they're just working long hours, and then they get home and they just want to relax with their child, and they don't want to do the percussions, and they just want to have like just a relaxed, no work kind of interaction. And so families are saying just that it's freeing up time, and the children like it, and you know, they get to sit there. It's just more freedom, like bodily freedom. You get to wear it, and I don't know. It's just they're enjoying this new way of spending time with their child, and then the percussion way with their hands. So
I think the bonus also is when we're doing percussions, when we used to do percussions, you can't do the nebulizers at the same time. You can do the nebulizers at the same time with the vest, but not when you're doing hand percussions. It's just not as easy. So it is a good thing. And it does do exactly what you said, give freedom. And I'm not sure if they're getting vests that don't have to be plugged in the wall, because the vests that we brought to Egypt, you did have to plug them into the wall, but still, it's better.
Yeah.
It's still more freedom.
And there are parents that told me that they took a long time learning how to do it, especially in other countries. There isn't a lot of training on how. And I had one mom say that forever she would try and try and try, and it didn't seem like it was doing anything. And she finally found someone who would kind of train her, and she kind of saw some results. But she said when she got the machine, the results were like just way better. That she said, I actually feel like it's doing something now for my child. So
that is fantastic. It's so great when you hear that. And the more machines they get, then other families can also learn, so they can teach others when more machines come.
yes.
So from India, then what was your next trip and delivery?
Yeah, my next one was Colombia. And again, we had sent a vest to this family. I think it worked for about 2 years, and then it stopped working. So they reached out again. We sent another one, and this one got lost in the mail, and it was so frustrating. Um, and they needed it, they didn't want to wait another month or so to see if the next one would show up. So, um, we were like, well, I'm always looking at airfare to Latin America. And I told Rod, hey, price is really cheap to Colombia right now. I mean, see if it's economical. I'll just go down there in person because it can be like $1,000 to ship to Colombia. So,
Oh, it's crazy to ship. It's
yeah,
crazy to ship. For anybody that doesn't know, I shipped medications. I think it cost $300 to ship, which was cheaper, but it was lighter. It was medications.
yeah.
Uh, and customs held it until it expired, and
Ugh,
no one ever benefited from it. So we've learned, as you have, it's better if you just fly it yourself.
yeah,
It's less costly. It gets to the families. So continue.
yeah.
I just wanted to throw that in there because I've experienced the same thing.
Yeah, it was shipping was ridiculous, and I found a good deal on a flight, and so I went down, and I didn't have anyone who would watch my 4-year-old, so I took him with me, and I said I'll pay for his ticket. It's fine. I want to go see Colombia anyway, so let's just go, and went there, and but right before, probably not even a week before I was ready to fly out. Rod said, hey, will you prepare another vest? It's going to go to Ecuador eventually when their contact in the US goes to Ecuador. And I said, well, I'm going to go to Colombia next week. Let me take this. I can probably get a one-way over really cheap. It's the next door neighbor. Ask the lady and let's see. So, turns out, yeah, she wanted me to bring it in person. So I went to Colombia and then we one-wayed over to Ecuador. Right, just right next door. And then I flew home from Ecuador on that trip.
What does your 4-year-old think of this? This is pretty cool for him.
Yeah, yeah. He loves airplanes, but he's loving them less now. But he always is excited. He's a good little traveler. He really is. And he saw his little cousin Evangeline use the vest all the time. And he knows these are kids just like his cousin need a vest. And so it's sweet. He's with me when I hand them over. And when we went to Ecuador, their families invited me all to their home and the child was there. And it was just sweet watching Benny. He knows the routine and I don't know. I just loved it.
That is very cool, and it definitely, when he's older and you see how it impacted his life, because I'm sure you can't quite tell yet, but down the road you'll definitely see the impact, I think, even more.
Yeah.
And it is cool because he does not have CF, so he can go into the homes with the other CF kids. Like I could never bring
Yeah.
my kids because we're in a CF community and they have to stay apart because of cross-contamination of bacteria among people with CF. But that's very, very cool that he's experiencing all this.
Yeah, it is great. And I only speak Spanish to him, coincidentally. So he hops right into the other culture and understands Spanish, and that's really neat.
That is really neat. And then from Colombia and Ecuador, then what happened after that?
So actually, when I arrived at Ecuador, I expected that there would just be people at the airport, take the machine and go home, and that's kind of what happens usually. So, but I was actually met by 3 families coming together. One was the woman getting the vest for her daughter. One was another family, and they had already had a vest for a couple years, and they just came to meet me and to say thank you. And another was a dad who his vest was shipped to his contact in the U.S. and he's waiting for it to arrive. So they were all there. They had a plaque. They had flowers and balloons, and it was. I just didn't expect that at all, and so it was just a really um, touching and like eye-opening moment. Like it really puts in reality when you're meeting these families face to face and like really seeing like how much they value what's happening. face to face, because usually I'm just packing a box and shipping it off, and I know that there's value, but um they met me and they were gonna take me to my hotel, and on the way, halfway, they said, "Can you come to our house? We just want to talk." And I was like, "Okay, sure." And they had so many questions and so many stories, and I'm starting to find out all about the issues in Ecuador, and they're looking to me like, "Do you know any other resources?" And that moment, I realized, like, wow, I'm not just delivering vests. Like, these people like need more help. They need more now than vests, and so I am starting to just reach out and find other resources that are available for them. Like you can. There's Piper's Angels. There's CF Bridge Hope is doing work in Ecuador, and we're just kind of now they're like a team, and we're all this team. It's just developed out of this one meeting. They hung out with me every single day. They're like, "Summer, we're gonna take you
That is
here. We're gonna take you
awesome.
there." Just every day, and so many questions. And before I left, they said, "Well, when are you coming back? And bring more." And so I said, "Okay, yeah, let's get this set up." Well, the one of the moms, I don't know, within 2 or 3 weeks, had a list of patients. She had the doctor's prescriptions. She said, "Okay, here." She had everything. She had the forms filled out, the sizes, and we weren't sure how many to bring because there's 300 patients in Quito alone. And I'm like, "Okay, how many can I bring? Can I bring 5 per person?" And I wasn't sure, but we landed on the number 9 because we were a little scared. Hitting 10 is kind of scary with customs. You're like, "Oh dear, 10 machines." And
Right. That's a lot.
we landed on 9. My husband and my son were going to come with me. Let me know if I'm jumping too far ahead. But so we came home from Ecuador, and we prepared now for that second trip. Not even 6 months later, we go to the airport, and it turns out there's an embargo period. I'm just learning as I go. And we were only able to bring 3 each, or they would have sent the rest home. And uh, just is so interesting that 9 was what we chose. And 9 was all we were going to be able to bring that trip because of the embargo. And I'm a woman of faith, and I truly am like, well, that was the Lord, because He knew we can only bring 9, and we didn't have to let down any families.
And that is so interesting because so many of those kinds of things have happened to me over the 30 years. It's just serendipitous, whatever. It is continuous of how CF like comes in and out of your lives. And I just wanted to mention too, while we have this little break here, is the Bonnell Foundation and CF Australia. We've started this group called CF Global Advocacy Alliance. And by the time this podcast airs, we will have had a workshop for nonprofits around the world to address what you're talking about, to address issues in different countries and to raise awareness. But anyways,
Awesome.
Continue. So you get these 9 vests, you're traveling back to Ecuador, and take us on that trip.
Yep. So we make it back, and this time we did some preparation with customs. 2 of the dads are military dads, and one of them knows somebody who works in customs. We just found out that customs in Quito, they fired everyone top down for corruption. Got a whole new staff, and it's supposed to be a really good staff. And the 2 dads, they get all military, they dress in their military, and they go in to apply for all this stuff we're going to bring. It went really well. They basically showed them, "Listen, we're not selling these. We have kids. Here's our prescriptions." And they really had to kind of plead and show the story that's not for profit or anything like that. We'd already purchased the tickets, everything, but it was kind of a waiting game to hear back from customs. And kind of last minute, 2 or 3 days before, they said, "Okay, it's all been approved. So, but we're still crossing our fingers because I also was bringing a lot of medication over. It was just stuffed full. Every vest was stuffed full. And we got there and I go to the X-ray machine. The first thing they tell me, what's the value? How much does all this cost? And I'm like, no, nothing, no value. It's all donation. And it's pre-approved and I have my paper and I'm just kind of nervous. And they send me to the customs office and I'm there for probably 10 minutes while the lady's on the computer. And I can see the families outside waiting outside and, and we're all just waiting. I've got this big case with 9 machines on it and then she lets me go and it's just the best feeling. I'm sure you've experienced this, but just like rolling all that past and into the country, it was like victory. It just felt like victory. And the families were there. The same 3 met me again and took everything, took it to Susie's house. Susie's one of the moms. And the next day she had it set up. There's a community room in her condominium area. There's like a community room that they can rent. And they rented it and she had it set up so that the parents could come the next day and pick up their vests. And I would show each one how to use it. We tested them all to make sure nothing got damaged in the airlines because that's an issue too.
Wow.
And that was really awesome because the first time I saw 3 families and the next time I'm meeting 9 families, and then they all have their stories and they all have, their struggles and their appreciation. And it was really impactful, just really awesome. Felt really great bringing all that.
And it was your husband's first trip.
Yep. So his first time, and he's a little bit more cautious about Latin America.
What did he think of this?
So he was more cautious about Latin America. And he was like slightly afraid. The travel advisory for Ecuador is not the best. But when he got there, I mean, you learn when you get there that those travel advisories are, man, I guess they're real, but I never ever notice. I never feel afraid when I get there. And so he arrived and he got to see so much just love and welcoming and appreciation. And he got to experience everyone receiving their vest. And also for him, I felt like it was a time for, like, I felt like he finally got to see what I've been seeing and just add to the support of what I do at home all day. Because, he also sees me busy cleaning machines and sorting stuff, and he wants my time too. And it was just good for him to see just how valuable it is. I feel like we're kind of more of a little bit more connected on the mission now too,
Absolutely. It so helps, Yeah. I think that is fantastic. And then where do you travel after that trip?
Yeah, that's the last one I went on, but I'm getting ready to go to Honduras. So headed to Honduras, and the goal is 10. And this time I checked, and there's not an embargo. I did some research this time. I called the airlines ahead of time, and we're good to go. I think I should be able to bring 5, and Benny's going with me, and he's going to be the other one who carries 5. So looking forward to that. Everyone's in Tegucigalpa, if I said that right, the capital. So I'll be arriving down there, and I've never been to Honduras. I have no idea what to expect, but I'm sure there's going to be, lovely, beautiful families there waiting for me. So
exactly. I'm very excited. And we will put the link in show notes, but if somebody wants to donate vests to CFS Worldwide, what should they do?
Just go to cfbww.org. There's like a contact form for donating. And yeah, right now we really need garments, the children's size garments for both Hillrom and the Philips machines. We are running out. So the word is spreading and we're running out. We really need them.
So a call for Hillrom and
the Encourage Philips machine. Yeah, any child sizes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
How would you like to end this on? Is it with a beautiful memory, or?
We're really thankful for everyone who does donate. It is making a huge difference. I mean, I'm starting to have an interview that I recorded of one of the dads just showing the impact, and I just want everybody who has donated a vest or other things, oxygen concentrator. We brought one to a little girl in Ecuador. And just every little thing, anything cystic fibrosis related, it goes such a long way. Even nebulizers, we usually don't ever donate nebulizers, but I just spoke with my Ecuador team this week, and they mentioned needing nebulizers, and I said, oh, well, I've got like way too many of them, and they said, oh, bring them, we need them. And just even the little things they don't have, or they're not as good quality, or they have to pay out of pocket and insurance doesn't cover it. So just anything anyone can donate at all is going to be used, and it's going to be gladly received. So
Well, it's wonderful, and thank you for being the change in the world.
Oh, thank you too.
I mean, it's so incredible. You're changing people's lives, you're educating people, and it's helping the CF community. So I'm glad you're in it with Rod and your brother-in-law, Josh. Summer Bauder, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been great.
The original music in this podcast is performed by Kevin Allen.
It's not complicated.
Who happens to have cystic fibrosis.
We all got our worries and fears. I know it's got you frustrated, but loving you is so alright.
This has been the Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast. For more information and to learn more about the Bonnell Foundation, visit our website at thebonnellfoundation.org. That's the BONNELL Foundation.org. This podcast was sponsored by Vertex Pharmaceutical, The Science of Possibility, and Viatris. It was produced by Jag and Detroit Podcasts. Follow our show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening right now.